Hi, my name's Shaun Laughton. I'm a business unit lead with the Valorem Reply. I head up our cloud platforms and security business unit, focusing on all things Microsoft Azure and M365. Valorem Reply primarily supports business verticals such as financial services, central government, and the education sector. So AI is being put in front of pretty much everything at the moment, and really the history of it is it's built on some quite common technology that's been around for a while. It's just the evolution of that technology. In terms of a lot of customers tend to think of it as a silver bullet. We can use it for everything. Yes, we can, but is it the right tool for the job? Not necessarily. There's ways that we can actually do things like process improvement or leverage some of those existing well-trodden paths in terms of technology to actually get those benefits that we actually want. At Valorem, we're all about encouraging clients to actually use the right tools for the right jobs to ensure the right outcomes. From a risk perspective, we've got things like misuse, so jailbreaking of LLMs, we have prompt injection, things like that, and also encouraging improper behaviour. We've also got data leakage, so whether that's inside the organisation or outside the organisation through improper controls. We have over-provisioned agents, so in the agentic space, if they're no different to users have more permissions than they're entitled to, then they can do bad things. We've also got shadow AI, so if we're not actually providing AI tools to our end users, they're just going to go off and procure their own, which are then outside the visibility of IT. And we've also got things like regulatory compliance, where we need to ensure that everything is auditable, traceable, explainable, and also compliant with modern standards, so the likes of ISO 42001. In terms of how we actually tackle some of those risks, we tackle those through things like Enter ID, particularly agent workload ID, so we can actually ensure that agents have the right permissions, and we're putting in place proper lifecycle management around some of those identities. We have Azure AI Foundry, which allows us to put in the governance and compliance layer when we're actually building things like our AI agents, and we also have the Purview toolset, which allow us to start to implement some greater controls around data security. I think as Valorem, the proudest achievement that I can think of at the moment is our work with a financial services client, where we worked alongside Microsoft to develop and implement a bunch of security policies for over 120 Azure services, all implemented as code, all controlled and auditable. And a lot of those, or quite a substantial number of those policies that we actually developed, have now found their way into Microsoft Core offering through Azure Policy. So we're a real sense of giving back to the community, so that other organisations that use Microsoft Azure can actually leverage the policies that we actually contributed to. So one of the biggest opportunities for clients in the next 12 months I see as Microsoft's overall ecosystem matures, the capabilities broaden, particularly in the AI space, actually empowering citizen developers, so our end users, to actually be more and more productive through the use of things like Copilot Studio, Copilot Studio for SharePoint, and also if we start to move to the right of that spectrum, Azure AI Foundry. If we focus on the stuff to the left, there's a definite education piece that needs to happen, so ensuring that end users are capable to actually leverage those tools to actually improve their day-to-day lives from a work perspective, whether that is through Copilot or Copilot Studio, but also an education around the implications of using these tools, so ethical use, data leakage, all of those kind of additional security controls, additional governance that users need to be aware of. So it's a double-edged sword really, so there's an awful lot of opportunity, but there's also some responsibility on organisations to actually implement the correct controls and education. more broadly, I think there's still a big opportunity for clients to actually look to extract the maximum value from their licensing position. So there are many organisations that we come across that are that have Microsoft licensing in place, and they're not making the most out of the features that they have available to them. In addition to that, there's an awful lot of organisations that are still using third-party tooling that they're double licensed for. In effect, they're not getting the greatest benefit out of some of those tools because they can't easily integrate them, so they're not actually getting the full benefit that they would have if they were extracting the maximum value out of the Microsoft licensing, and that in turn, as well as a financial issue, it also causes security issues. It leaves organisations exposed because they don't have full visibility of their environments. In terms of clients trusting Valorem Reply, I think it goes back to our approach in that we actually try to focus on the actual problems rather than the problems that they are presented to us by a client. Quite often they tend to focus on the symptoms, or they tend to solutionize ahead of actually figuring out what the actual problem is. So effectively solutions looking for a problem. We try to step back, take a holistic view of the overall problem and try to focus on the actual root causes. We're also very honest with clients, so we will challenge, we will ask clients to actually question their own thinking in order to ensure the right outcomes for clients. I think what excites me most about the AI space and how Valorem can actually assist our clients is definitely in the fact that a lot of the clients that we work with are central government, so anything that we can actually add in that space has a positive impact both on those departments in terms of process improvements, efficiencies, whatever that may look like, so cost to the taxpayer, but also in terms of the delivery of those services to the public and the quality of those services. So whether we're improving things like response times, qualitative measures, whatever that looks like, helping both those departments and the public make better decisions in a more efficient fashion and in a more timely fashion, I find really exciting.